All right, welcome back to Talking Taker. This is episode number 12. I think, is that right? 12?
Yeah, 12.
I missed it last time. Episode 12 of our encyclopedic exploration, digging up the career of the WWF's greatest creation. My name's Alex Doriot. I am joined once again by my tag team partner on this journey of Dead Man Talking, Travis White. Travis, have you had any Undertaker sightings lately in the past week?
I haven't had any Undertaker sightings. I did have a fake Undertaker podcast sighting, though.
Oh, yeah.
I'll let that go. It's kind of funny how that ties in with this particular week's podcast. It's funny.
It is pretty funny timing. It happens to be another podcast out there that has apparently a fan of our concept and decided to go out and do it on their own. And, you know, it's a free country. They're free to make their own podcast if they want to, but we're going to keep doing our thing and keep doing what we do. You can't beat the original. I'll just say that. So
imitation is the highest form of flattery.
That's right. So if you want to go listen to a podcast that just does a bunch of poor imitations of other podcasts, not just our own, but just bad Pritchard Show impersonations and one guy talking to himself, then go right ahead. But we appreciate our fans. We appreciate you checking us out and downloading us. Shout out to everybody off of Reddit, Squared Circle over there. I posted something on there. I've been posting on there for a couple years now, and decided to finally worked up the courage to make a post about our show. Wanted to get the kinks out of the way the first few episodes before I promoted us over there. So I appreciate everyone who's subscribed to us and checked us out off there. Hopefully you're still listening. We appreciate it. And all of our Twitter followers, Facebook followers, all that good stuff, man. It means a lot. It's a small community, but every listen, you know, we're just doing it for fun. So it's cool that anybody's out there listening to us. So appreciate you listening and keep spreading the word about us, man. We would love that.
Man, I can't say it by myself, so let's get into this thing.
Yeah. Oh, well, all right. Before we get started with SummerSlam 94, Undertaker versus Undertaker, we need to talk about the breaking Undertaker news that broke earlier this week on Monday morning that apparently at Raw 25th anniversary in January of 2018, the Undertaker is going to make his first appearance since allegedly retiring at WrestleMania 33. So I thought, Travis, I'd just get your thoughts on that. It's going to be the big 25th anniversary of Raw. They're going back to the Manhattan Center where Undertaker main evented the first ever Monday Night Raw. Do you think we're in for a reunion match against Damien Demento? Is that what you want to see? What do you expect to see from?
I want to see. Okay, as far as Undertaker's career being over, I'm good with it. It was a good ending at WrestleMania last year. It led us to this. But if he's come back and he's going on Raw 20th anniversary, I want him and Demento to main event.
Absolutely.
I think he should do just a spot-for-spot remake, like when Gus Van Sant redid Psycho, the movie.
Yes.
It's exactly shot for shot. They should do spot-for-spot remake the entire match in the main event.
You know Demento's just sitting by the phone right now, waiting for the call.
Yeah. Yeah, probably like an actual phone, like connected to a wall. He doesn't have a cell phone. Or he's got Cricket Wireless or something.
Yeah.
So, anyway, no offense to those.
Don't hate on the Quicker Wireless.
Dolph Ziggler's spokesman.
Right.
But yeah, man. In all seriousness, though, I think it's really cool that he's going to come back. How are they doing it at Barclays and Manhattan Center?
Yeah, it looks like they're
WrestleMania 2, I think.
Yeah, they're gonna have some segments at both apparently.
Okay.
So I hope they do at least one match at Manhattan Center because that's peak nostalgia for me. I've always they did go back in '97, but they haven't been back to there since then. And it'll be really cool, especially if they have some current roster guys have a couple matches there. That would be really awesome to see.
Well, because they've announced Undertaker, Diesel, and Shawn Michaels so far.
Yeah, they're all going to appear.
And the only one that I would think possibly wrestle there would be Diesel, which would be that would be kind of neat to see him.
That would be pretty
step
cool.
in there, even though it's he's old.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of cool just to see him again. So, but yeah, I think it's cool. The Undertaker's coming back. I really hope that it doesn't build to a WrestleMania match because
the timing would be.
Perfect.
That's generally when we see him make his appearances. And everyone has said he's retired except for him. So
right.
there's still that chance. I'll tell you that, I've mentioned on here I'm a youth pastor, and I work. The best thing about my job is leading kids to Jesus, but the second best thing is talking to kids about wrestling that are still into wrestling. And there's a few that are in the youth group, some younger ones, and one of them, he asks me every week if I think the Undertaker's coming back, and I keep saying, no, man, I think he's done. I think we talk. He's always asking about who should come back. Sting, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Edge, and he's still a true believer, man. So I keep telling him, nah, man, Undertaker is done. He's done. And I just know he's gonna bring it up on Wednesday. He's like, oh, he's coming back. I knew he was coming back. And
for sure.
So I don't know. I guess the window is still there. I think you and I are both in agreement. We don't really want to see him wrestle again, but it'll be fun to see him come back at the Manhattan Center. Maybe hit a choke slam or tombstone on somebody. Sure. Who knows? It's intriguing for sure.
Yeah. Because even Shawn Michaels has been retired for 6 years, but he still comes back and super kicks people and special refs and does stuff like that. So he can. I'm all for Undertaker getting in the ring and doing something like that. I just don't want to see him have an official match, but.
Yeah. It will get people talking, for sure.
It'll be cool. Oh, yeah, for sure. It's already got people talking. So, yeah, it's going to be awesome. We're looking forward to it.
Maybe they'll announce him for the Hall of Fame or something like that. Maybe that'll be the first Hall of Fame induction. Yeah. Who knows? Didn't think about that, but could be that. Who knows? But we'll talk about that more in the weeks to come when it gets closer to it, and I'm sure we may even devote a whole episode to it, depending on how important or relevant it is when we get there. We didn't necessarily expect Undertaker to come back when we started this, but we'll definitely cover anything related to him as he continues on in whatever fashion here in the WWE. But we've got another pay-per-view to get to today. Let's do it. SummerSlam 94. So obviously we're taking a big leap forward from Royal Rumble 1994 after Undertaker was dropped into the casket and risen from the dead, saying he would never
resurrected. Yeah.
Right, never rest in peace. He's resurrected, but then he went into hibernation for his first. We're talking about first. This is the first time of many times that Undertaker takes a big, long, extended break in his career. I think it's part of why he was able to have such a long career. He was able to take time off and rest his body and come back looking strong. So he's gone from January until August, missing WrestleMania 10, which he only missed 2 WrestleManias in the course of his career, WrestleMania 10 and WrestleMania 2000. 2 pretty big ones to miss. But and so what's going on? Like, what happens in between there and here to get us here? There's a lot of interesting stuff to build up the storyline without the actual Undertaker being on there.
So I guess in real life, he's out with a back injury or something, right? But to carry along the story, again, we can tell that Vince loves his character. So to carry along the story, there are Undertaker sightings, right?
Yeah, I guess they're like Bigfoot sightings, trying to be like, I don't know. It feels like they're parodying something here, but I can't quite figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know, but you got to. I was trying to read a recap of just the whole summer, and I read on some website. I don't remember what it is. I would put them over, but I don't remember. But it was saying that Vince McMahon is one of the best marketing geniuses there is. So he decided to go with this. This is his way of marketing the return of the Undertaker. He's going to push it and do all these videos and who's seen the Undertaker, and almost like he's like a Loch Ness monster type character. We spotted him.
The other day I was working, and guess who walked in? The Undertaker. I couldn't believe it. This guy was huge.
Bryn, did you see the Undertaker? I saw him outside. Slid down a slide.
Yeah, when the smoke started to clear, there was this big figure standing there. And when it cleared up, I looked, it was the Undertaker.
Did you see the man who was just in here? He was enormous.
Oh, I saw him. That was the Undertaker.
No, not the Undertaker.
But Dibiase, who originally brought Undertaker into WWF, says he found the Undertaker, right?
Yeah, so, Ted DiBiase has gone from being an announcer at Royal Rumble 1994 to in the months since WrestleMania, he's become the new big manager in the WWF. He's beginning to formulate his $1 million corporation with Nikolai Volkov and Bam Bam Bigelow. And now his big accusation, he claims that he has found the Undertaker, and that the Undertaker, he has that money can buy anybody, and that he has purchased the Undertaker. So he debuts on the Heartbreak Hotel, I believe. He brings out the Undertaker in quotation marks.
Well, it's kind of say the Heartbreak Hotel. What a great set!
Right?
It's
Absolutely.
so good. I forgot what that looked like until they showed the video package. Man, that was so good. So
they don't put the same effort into these interview sets like they used to.
They don't. Yeah, you get the Miz TV, and it's just a couple chairs. At least Jericho's. He had a Geritron 5000.
The ridiculously expensive Geritron 5000.
Large, yeah. But yeah, Heartbreak Hotel. What a show, man. So yeah, he debuts the UnderFaker, I guess. He'll become, and man, even as a kid, I wasn't fooled. I don't think, but I don't know. Maybe I was. Cause again, I wasn't really watching heavily, but I just remember. I want to talk in a minute about going back and watching this pay-per-view, but I remember flipping through and seeing this kind of stuff. I'm like, that's not the same guy.
Yeah.
But they did what they could, and I think it's Brian Lee, which is like his cousin, right? Shoot, I think it's Undertaker's cousin.
Oh, I didn't know that. Really?
I think he said it on Bruce Pritchard's podcast, I believe, but maybe not. If not, we'll edit that out.
I thought they were just friends. Maybe they are.
Maybe they
distant
are. I don't know.
relatives. I don't know.
I don't know.
But
he's one of his boys, though.
Yeah, Brian Lee, who would go on. He was in ECW. He was Chains in WWF briefly. Yet again, in the Disciples of Apocalypse. I kind of get him. Brian Lee, Brian Adams, Brian Clark. They all kind of blend together. But
they're all boys with Taker.
All friends with Taker. All long hair, biker type guys. But yeah, this was Brian Lee. I thought, going back and looking at it, in my head, I remember thinking, oh, this was so cheesy, so lame, so fake. Going back and looking at it, I mean, he does a pretty serviceable job as the fake Undertaker, as Dibiase's Undertaker. He wrestles on, I think it's the July 4th Monday Night Raw. I went back and watched it. I think that's his first match. And the look, like the walk to the ring, you can tell something's a little bit off. But, in the ring, he does pretty darn good Undertaker impression, I felt like.
And he's got the mannerisms down for sure.
Got the mannerisms, got the moves down. I forget which move he does. It's I think it's the jumping clothesline or the DDT. It looks spot on. He's trying very hard to keep all of his hair over his face, because that's the kind of the biggest giveaway is once you see the eyes and the nose and everything. But just with the hair covering his face and the shape of his body, I could definitely see some people being fooled by this and not realizing it's not the real Undertaker. But Paul Bearer is not fooled. He knows something is up. He comes out and he's just positive that's not the real Undertaker. He tries to lure DiBiase's Undertaker over to him, but DiBiase offers up more money to the Undertaker. He comes back over to him.
He starts choking Paul Bearer.
Yeah,
on
starts
Raw.
choking Paul Bearer.
Then the gong hits and the lights go out and they start. Is there some thunder? I think some cracking thunder or something, maybe even too. And then you get to hear from the Undertaker. I think the next week, maybe the week before SummerSlam, he actually speaks on the Heartbreak Hotel. You don't see him; you just hear his voice through the PA system, and he basically says that he's coming back. So, so he's back. It's been 7 months, I guess. It's been gone.
Yeah. So here's my question before we get into the match. I'm trying to work this out in my head. What exactly is Ted DiBiase's endgame here?
I have no idea.
Because I can't decide. Does Ted DiBiase think this is the real Undertaker? Is he fooled? Or is he just thinking that the real Undertaker is never going to come back, and so he's going to make money off his fake Undertaker? I don't know what is going. Or are there multiple Undertakers? Because the Undertaker,
James Bond. different guys can play him.
Well, I think in one of his promos, the real Undertaker talks about he's been here through the generations and through the years. So is this like a Green Lantern kind of universe where there's just different Undertakers, and Ted DiBiase found one that's not as powerful as the Paul Bearer's Undertaker? Which one do you think? And what is DiBiase trying to accomplish?
That's a great idea, and I thought about that too. I was like, because again, I love storytelling, and it does tell a good story. But yeah, when you get back to that, it's like, well, wait a minute, what's his motive here? Yeah. I think it's kind of what you're saying, that maybe he thinks Undertaker, the real one, is gone, and so he's just gonna exploit this new one. Like he has someone dressed up as him. He's just gonna exploit. I think he's in on it.
Right.
He's in storyline wise, obviously we know it's a work, but I'm saying I think in storyline wise, I think he's in on it. He knows it's fake, but he's just gonna exploit it, for money. So I think that's the big thing. But again, how did he know Undertaker's gonna come out of hiding to avenge himself? So right. I don't know. A lot of holes in the plot here.
I guess that makes the most sense now that we're talking it out. I thought it kind of reminded me of a Terminator 2 type situation where we have the real Undertaker, and then you've got this other Undertaker that might have the same powers but is an evil force, and they end up going against each other. So it was kind of like that might have been based off that in some people's heads too.
We got the two Terminators. Came out about 2 years before this, so
that's about right.
This man doesn't know pop culture.
Exactly.
So maybe somebody did. Maybe Pritchard saw it or something.
That's on it quick for Vince.
So, but yeah, that's good thing. But before we get into the match, I'd like to just talk about some of the pay-per-view for just a second. Especially this pay-per-view. So again, this is August 29th, 94 in Chicago, the brand new United Center.
Right.
It's been open for this research. Been open for 11 days at this point.
Was this the first event they had, or they must have had like a basketball game, or not basketball. That wouldn't have started yet.
I think I could not find out if this was the first event, but I do know it was open for only 11 days. So I imagine there was something in it first.
Must have been a concert or something.
Yeah, probably. But we got Lawler and Vince on commentary. Lawler with no shirt on, great. Just sits there for 3 hours with his nipples hanging out, his hairy chest. So
I didn't realize that.
But a couple things I want to say, because part of this podcast is us kind of going through nostalgia and our connections to this character and B, these shows too, because I remember when we were younger watching this pay-per-view at your house. Did you have this one on VHS?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, you did. Okay, so I remember watching it and then I remember borrowing it. Like I remember seeing this Undertaker versus UnderFaker match. That was the first time I'd ever seen it. I remember watching Diesel and Razor, right? Mm-hmm. And then I don't think that the night that we watched, I don't think we watched Brett versus Owen. But I remember later on, once I had 2 VCRs in my bedroom, we talked about burning copies and dubbing tapes the other week.
Yep.
I remember borrowing this from you to burn me a copy of Brett versus Owen in the cage match, because I was making this compilation of just great matches. And I remember you giving me this one probably in 2000. I think 2000, 2001 is when I got.
That makes sense. Yeah.
My two VHSs in my room, so I was in heaven at that point. So yeah. So I just have a special place with this. Again, that match, Brett versus Owen in the salad steel cage. But we're not here to talk about that. But that's a fantastic match. But
it really is. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite cage matches.
Yeah.
Maybe the best. I mean, aside from Flair and Tully Blanchard and stuff like, or Magnum TA and stuff. Anyway, it's so good. But that's where I fell in love with this show. I remember, and again, we're gonna get into this match, and Taker versus Faker is not great, but this show as a whole, and we've been talking about how back then when there's so few pay-per-views, there's a lot more that's accomplished on them, and it leads to the next show. And now with Monday Night Raw, they're trying to hook you in to come tune in the next night, So I saw a lot happen on this show too. You got Diesel and Shawn win the tag titles the night before, and they're you start to see kinks in their armor where he kicks him in the face, and you got the Brett and Owen, and they play a video package that goes from November of last year.
Yeah.
That story's been told from November of last year.
Yeah.
It's crazy, And at this point, Yokozuna, who we last saw with Undertaker, was the champion, and now he's not. He lost to Brad at Mania, right? In the main event of Mania 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of stuff's happening now. But and I just Brad and Owen was a blue bar steel cage match for the WWF Championship, but did it go on last?
Nope.
No, it did not. Undertaker goes on last. I just thought that was cool. Like, Undertaker's been gone. But he's not even the focal point of the show because the WWF Championship should be. But Vince still has that faith and that confidence in this character, that he puts him on after one of the best matches of all time. Brad and Owen, in a cage. And he has the guts to put on this UnderFaker match after that. So, I don't know. That's my little rant about this, my rave, I guess, about this show.
Yeah.
All that stuff is just so cool,
And he does it again the next month. Or next pay-per-view, next show. Undertaker's in the main event again, not the WWF Championship. So it just goes to show the power of the character, the power of the performer. And you're right, man. Power of the urn. Oh man, missed it. These pay-per-views were so much more important back then. Now, with one every 2 weeks, they're Monday Night Raws, extended versions of Raw, sometimes shorter versions of Raw, because Raw's 3 hours plus, and sometimes these pay-per-views are actually shorter than the Monday Night Raws. And you had to make it worth people's $30, $35, $40 to get them to tune in, so you had to deliver something every time you did a show like this. And nowadays, they're not worried. I mean, people are subscribing to the WWE network, no matter what, pretty much. So it doesn't even matter what they trot out there on these pay-per-views. Nothing has to happen, and nothing does happen half the time. So, I think that's a great point.
I just wanted to point that out just before we get in to break down the match. So it's a special show to me, personally, and a lot happens on it. So, and you get a great women's match, Nakano and
dude, that match is awesome.
It's a great match.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway. It's an underrated pay-per-view, I think. It doesn't get mentioned in the classics, but it's a solid card, top to bottom. And last thing before we get into the match, we do have to mention the skits with Leslie Nielsen that occurred in the months leading up to this as well. So the WWF has hired not Frank Drebin from The Naked Gun, but the actor who played Frank Drebin, Leslie Nielsen. They hired an actor who played a private investigator to investigate the whereabouts of The Undertaker. So for a month or a couple months before this on Raw and Superstars, we got these skits with Leslie Nielsen just doing a bunch of puns and silly jokes, searching for The Undertaker.
All right, fans, Ray Rougeau here. The Undertaker mystery is thickening. I want to start that over. I didn't like it.
There I was, heading poolside, trying to catch some rain. Sorry, Ray. The girls were feeling macho.
Macho Man, you're so big.
Easy now, girls. It's family entertainment. Yeah.
I had work to do. I was scanning around the globe for clues to the biggest mystery of our time. The sun was extremely bright.
If your deductive capabilities were a fraction of what you profess, this incognito caper would have been solved by now.
Thank you, son. Right kid. And he was right. After all this time, I'm still tormented by that one burning question. How can there be two Undertakers? Maybe one is corrupt like you. Police, arrest that man. I will solve this case at SummerSlam.
As a kid, I definitely thought they were really funny. The Naked Gun movies are still really funny. So it's kind of a weird fit for WWF. And I guess they were kind of pointing out some of the silliness of this Undertaker versus Undertaker matchup and having some fun with it. So it was enjoyable for what it was, and people definitely remember those things pretty well. So it's the first of a few pay-per-views in a row of a lot of celebrity involvement too. We get Leslie Nielsen and then
Sapp on there.
What's his name?
Not Warren Sapp.
No.
Tyler Razor.
Yeah, Walter Payton.
Walter Payton, not Warren Sapp, sorry.
Then you've got Chuck Norris next month. You got Pamela Anderson the month after that. Lawrence Taylor. So they're getting really big and pushing celebrities to try and boost the business at this point in time. And Leslie Nielsen was the one way to do that, I guess.
Yeah, and he follows the Undertaker trail on the wall backstage. It's you know what it reminded me of watching this was Fashion Files. Now,
yes,
it really reminded me of Fashion Files. Just how like tongue in cheek it was, but like it still served its purpose. But it was a little relief, but it kind of played into something serious, you know. And even what happens after the match backstage, yeah, that's very Fashion Files ish, you know, with the case and stuff. So anyway, I just thought I had a blast rewatching.
It was fun, yeah.
But man, let's get to the show.
Yeah. You talk about Undertaker. I mean, you talk about Bret Hart and Owen Hart being this classic match, 5 stars, and then you have this match,
6
the main
stars,
event.
Yeah.
Definitely. Undertaker versus Undertaker. It is the dichotomy of sports entertainment, where you have the in-ring experience being highlighted, and then you have just the spectacle being highlighted. And this was a spectacle because the evil Undertaker, Ted DiBiase's Undertaker, walks out first, and then Howard Finkel, he's a little bit biased in his introduction. He says, and Paul Bearer comes out he comes out, and then the Druids bring out the double wide, double deep casket that's gotten a fresh paint job.
Gotten a makeover, yeah. It's got a rest in peace sign on it and the Undertaker like picture. But this is the first time we've seen the Druids on pay-per-view, isn't it?
I think so.
Which I think Vince calls them the Grim Reapers, but they'll later change that.
Later became the Druids.
It should only be one Grim Reaper, right?
That's what I would think.
Come on, Vince. Anyway, but yeah, the Druids here. So again, we're adding to that, character and that mystique. Yeah, double deep, double wide, or double wide, double deep. It's got a fresh coat of paint. Looks good. So,
but Vince McMahon swears that the Undertaker is in this casket that Paul Bearer's rolling out, but that's not what's in it. Instead, he pulls out a humongous urn. I
was like, "Go!" This is huge.
Twice the size of his head. It is enormous. Nice and shiny.
It has a flashlight inside of it.
Yeah. The light. Yeah, he takes the top off, and a big spotlight comes out of there. Paul Bearer is just putting on a performance, just dancing around with it, and he's having the time of his life.
Good.
He's so good.
He sells to the top rope,
yes.
Man. I love it. He's so good. His facials, he just dances. He does what you're supposed to do, Not like Giant Gonzalez selling like an idiot.
Right.
This guy sells to the person that paid the cheapest, got the cheapest seat. So
and the crowd's into it, man. They've got the
hot crowd all night, and still hot at this point.
Yeah, at this point. There's lightning and thunder, and that's the first time they've really done those special effects, which they did that a lot with Undertaker. So it's great, man. It's awesome. Undertaker finally comes out, and as the lights go up, we see he's in his new gear for the first time. First makeover of his career, which at this point is the same gear, except where there used to be gray, now there is purple.
He got a fresh coat of paint too, man. Purple trim on the hat, purple in the coat, purple gloves, purple boot sleeves, whatever you call those things.
Yep.
Yeah. But do you think that was a conscious effort, like, oh, I'm going to come back in purple? Or, like, was it like, well, crap, we can't have both of you guys in gray, because then, the crowd that can't see you very well is not going to know who's who? Like, do you think that was a combination of the two?
I think it was both. Yeah, I think he was just trying to change the look up a little bit, and it made sense to not have them. Like when you pick the same guy on a video game, like Mortal Kombat, one of them has to have a little bit different.
Scorpion was like yellow, and then like yellow goldenrod. Like,
right.
Exactly. It's a little off. So,
are you pro purple or gray?
Purple, I think.
Really? I'm more gray, man. I like the original.
I think I'm gray, but then once I saw it, I was like, I think I like that's. I don't know. That reminds me of Undertaker more. I guess it's because video games. I played him with purple. I don't know. It's more hokey, but I like it. So I mean, I like them both. It's kind of shows, when he does take these hiatuses, like you mentioned earlier, and come back, he always does have something different. Even in 2017, 2015, all these more recent years, especially 2000 when he comes back. But, even here, he's sowing those seeds of, he's going to add something different, change something, again, because he has such longevity, which is why we're even here doing this podcast today. So.
And that's something not enough guys do nowadays.
Jericho does it like a boss. Jericho's great at it.
Yeah, he's the best.
Other than him and Undertaker, no one really does that. So.
No, and it doesn't have to be. You don't have to change your whole look, or change your music, or change your gimmick, or anything like that. But come back with a little twist, something, freshen it up. You have, no one wants to get hurt and miss time, but sometimes it can be the best thing for you because it allows you to be fresh in people's minds and change things up, add some color to your outfit or tweak the outfit, do something a little bit different, and it's a lost art anymore. Everyone wants to keep their gimmick, keep everything the same, and it can add a lot, even just add a little purple where there used to be gray.
Yeah. So just getting in the match, they start off face to face, and the real Taker does a throat slash, in his face, and that gets a good pop, and then they kind of go back and forth, and the real Undertaker does a leapfrog over him. Notice that, and so he's learned some new moves as well. So
he did. Yeah.
Again, I got to give props to Brian Lee. He really does have the mannerisms down. So he does a good job of copying, mimicking the Undertaker's moves, and his throat slashes and his throat thrusts, and but it's just a really slow plotting match. I wrote. That's just
unfortunately. That's the problem with it, is that you've got two guys wrestling the exact same style, mimicking each other, and that just doesn't make for a good match. And they're just reversing each other and doing a lot of chops and things like that, and spots where they're imitating each other. So there's not really the normal layout that you see of a wrestling match, that where someone gets the heat and someone gets to make a comeback or anything like that. It's just very methodical. Neither of them are selling anything, so there's just nothing to latch onto as a fan to really get you invested in it.
Yeah, it's a good point. And and then the UnderFaker goes for the old school, and Taker throws him off, and I wrote this, the crowd's sort of dead. You thought they'd pop huge for that. But again, the crowd has seen Razor win the IC title. They've seen Blaze and Nakano tear down the house. They've seen Diesel and Shawn super kick, the super kid. They've seen Brett and Owen put on a classic. They've seen Tatanka turn heel and beat the crap out of Lex Luger for 20 minutes afterward. They've seen a lot of stuff this night, and so I think it's just wrong placement. I understand Vince's point of wanting to put this on last, but I think that in hindsight, he probably put it on right before, the Bret Hart match. I don't know, but
I think there may have been some of that, but I'm not sure if that's as big of a factor, or if this is just a match that is.
Well, and people just don't care.
Yeah, it's really about the build up to it, and getting to see the real Undertaker come back, and seeing him hit the tombstone finally. I think that's all the crowd really wants to see, and everything else. Right. I don't think anyone expected the Ted DiBiase's UnderFaker, whatever you want to call him. No one expected him to win anyway, so it's kind of a foregone conclusion thing. And this crowd is as quiet as we have heard in an Undertaker match, and it's one of the quietest crowds for a main event or anything that you'll ever see. So much so that Vince McMahon even has to comment on how dead the crowd is.
This capacity crowd in awe. They don't know what quite to think. They're seeing two Undertakers. You can hear the virtual silence of this capacity crowd. They're stunned.
Yeah, the silence is deafening.
Yeah, and this is Chicago. This is a hotbed.
Yes.
This is a crazy town. Just go plug in, Brett and Austin from WrestleMania 13, plug in CM Punk and John Cena from Money in the Bank 11, plug in anything from Chicago. It's just incredible.
And they've been great the rest of the whole night.
Yeah, the earlier night. So Vince, bless his heart, he tries to, he's doing his job. He's trying to get it over, and they're in awe, but I think they're just in awe of my lord, why is this match still going on? Because it's only, I think it's 8 minutes and 57, right under 9 minutes.
It felt like it was 30 minutes long.
It should have been half that length.
Yeah.
Taker would come in, wipe the floor with him, tombstone, done. But you know, just getting in the match, he hits a choke slam. Faker hits a choke slam. The Undertaker sits up, and I wrote like 24 people cheer because they know it's coming.
Yeah,
they know it. You hear 24 people from Chicago going, "Yay!" And it's like, you're right. It's the quietest Undertaker match we've seen yet.
Easily.
He tombstones Undertaker, and for some reason doesn't go to pin him.
Dude, he does not protect him at all. He drops Undertaker on his head, man.
It's a Coco Beware tombstone.
Ooh, it was bad, real ugly.
Yeah, but he sits. The Undertaker sits up as Bearer raises the real urn, the giant steroid urn. This is right after the steroid trials, isn't it? So, they put a little IcoPro in that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It should have had a sticker on it.
It should have.
And then this is cool though, because Faker goes for another tombstone. Undertaker reverses it by flipping backwards, which I've always loved that spot.
Yeah.
Even when the Japanese guys would do it, or like on WCW, or like Benoit and Jericho would do it to each other. I don't care how big or small you are. That reversal is so cool to me.
And that's the first time he did that, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Because no one else has really done it to him at all. So, yeah, I think that's the first time we've seen that on a pay-per-view match, at least. So that was cool. I wrote that down, too.
He hits tombstone on the Faker, and then Vince says, "This Undertaker's not sitting up at all." I guess he's like, that's his cue to say, "Go home. Like, let's just do it. Let's take it."
Yeah.
He gives him a second one and a third one. Finally puts him away.
And I will say, like, fake Undertaker, not only did he drop him on his head, but he was also just in a weird part of the ring, too, camera angle. But the real Undertaker, every single time, knows exactly where he is in the ring, always right in the middle, facing the camera. I mean, he has incredible, even at this young of an age, because he's still really relatively young in the business. He knows exactly where he needs to be to hit that move. Just perfect placement, never out of place for the cameras or in the middle of the ring. Every time he does it, man. And that's, again, that just shows you it's not just a great character. This is a very special performer too.
Yeah. Because I remember mentioning in our first several podcasts that, when he'd hit him on Coco Beware or Jake, he wasn't in the middle of the ring. He wasn't facing the hard cam. But now he is. He hits all three of these facing the hard cam, takes his time to turn around. Yeah, you're right, man. He's learning, he's growing, and it's just, it's perfect, man. It was so good to see him back, and thank God this is over.
Yeah, the crowd does pop pretty big once he wins. Yeah. They're excited to see him win and celebrate. Ted DiBiase runs away.
Man, he hightails it.
Hightails it out of there.
Druids come out and open the casket, and Faker gets dumped into it.
Yep, rolled away forever. Never to be heard from again. Yeah,
thank God. Undertaker hits his pose on one knee, and the lights coming out of the urn, the IcoPro urn, and crowd. I wrote at this point, the crowd does love it. They're chanting, they're clapping, and then we've been talking about what happens afterward. This will cap it off. So Vince McMahon throws, says, we got something else happening. He goes to Macho Man, who then talks about, good pay-per-view, good show. And then he's like, oh, something else is happening backstage. So he goes backstage, and you get the Super Sleuths, who are Leslie Nielsen and what's the other guy's name? I don't know.
Oh,
the other old white-haired guy.
Hold on.
I can't remember his name.
I already forgot it.
At this point, they're backstage, and there's the double wide casket is there, and they open it, and there's no one inside. And then the other dude, whose name we can't seem to remember.
George Kennedy.
Oh, yeah. President Kennedy. George Kennedy, the other old white-haired guy, he points over there. He's like, oh, look, over there. Briefcase is closed. The case is closed. And now, again, I love that there's no subtlety. It's so funny, man. Like, we keep mentioning that, how Vince is like, don't leave anything up to the imagination.
Nope.
So, anyway, here we go. The Super Sleuths case is closed. Again, really reminded me of the Fashion Files, which I love.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is cool how it looks like Fashion Files. But anyway, the case is closed. Thank you, Lord. I wrote thank you with the exclamation point in my notes because Brian Lee's gone. Undertaker's back. we're gonna resume our feud with Yokozuna coming up next month. So
we're gonna resume our feud with Yokozuna, and actually, this feud with Ted DiBiase, this is just kind of the beginning of his feud with the $1 Million Corporation, because that's going to carry us through most of 1995, for better or worse. He's going to run through all of DiBiase's guys. But yeah, Yokozuna is going to come back, and we're going to hit that casket match. This, it's something everybody remembers. You'll never forget Undertaker versus Undertaker, and they're going for the spectacle of it. And as far as building up the feud, it's an interesting direction to build it up. This is a match you could totally skip, I would say. It's not even, I don't even know if it's worth, even for the cheesiness or the funniness of it, I don't even know if it's worth wasting your time with. Even the promos, they're not really entertaining in a cheesy, funny way.
Did you see who the Undertaker quote unquote appeared to over the summer? They have the people. I wrote them down.
Yeah.
A butcher, a kindergarten class. Hold on, I got them written down here. A butcher, a kindergarten class, and man, I can't remember. It's someone else terrible.
Yeah, it's not like real Bigfoot sightings where he's out in the wilderness. It's just really bizarre stuff. So
it's weird.
And I don't know. Not the highlight of Undertaker's career by any means.
But watch the rest of the show. It's a great show.
Yeah, the rest of the show is good. And next month's kind of fun. So I'm excited to do next show. Next show, next week, whatever you want to call it. But
with a great special referee.
Oh my gosh.
Probably the greatest.
I can't wait.
All time. I can't. I've been so excited. I thought it was back at Royal Rumble. I was so excited to get to it.
Oh yeah.
So anyway.
We'll get there, and we'd love to hear your opinion. What did you think of Undertaker versus Undertaker, SummerSlam 94? Were you there in the United Center? Let us know. Hit us up. At
Colt
Talking...
Cabana, CM Punk, anybody who was there?
Right.
You were there. Let us know.
At Talking Taker on Twitter. At Talking Taker on Facebook now. We got the Facebook page launched. We hit 500 followers on Twitter, so that's exciting.
Yes, sir.
I need to talk to you. I want to do something... celebrate that here in the next few weeks. So we got the Facebook page. Of course, we want you to subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you listen to your podcast. Please subscribe, give us a review, give us a rating, let us know what you think. That all helps out. So we would greatly appreciate that. Give us any feedback, anything else. Again, the people on Reddit gave us a couple good ideas for maybe some bonus episodes along the way. So I appreciate that, and maybe we'll get to some of those as well. And
I had a special phone call this week.
Oh yeah,
from Vince Russo. So those of you who don't know, if you missed his, you can sign up for his brand. And anyway, long story short, I got a phone call from the Vince Russo, and we talked and chatted. And it was cool. Talked to Vince for about 10 minutes. And anyway, he follows us on Twitter now and told us to ask him questions once we get to his era. So we're looking forward. So hopefully, those of you who are hanging in through some of these crappy matches like this. Hopefully, when we get to the Vince Russo era, we can ask him some questions and get some of his insight too. So
yeah, that would be pretty neat.
So just shout out to Uncle Vince.
Yeah, thanks for following us. Man of his word. He said he would, and he followed us right after getting off the phone with you. So that's pretty awesome. Jealous of you getting to talk to him. That's cool. And I mentioned on the last episode I ran my first marathon this past week, so that was exciting, and thanks to anybody who might have said a little prayer for me for doing that. I'm a dead man walking right now, so my body's sore, but my spirit is high. I was able to do it, and just if you've ever thought about doing something crazy like that, I encourage you to go for it and put in the training, and you're able to do a lot more than you think you can when you put in the work for it. So appreciate you, Travis, for cheering me on in that. It was fun. It was awesome. So, yeah, but until next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the real Undertaker podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, take her easy.
The case is closed. The case is closed. You've solved the mystery. I don't know how you do it. Come on, let's go get something to eat.
The case is closed.